All right, what we're going to talk about is the what's and whys of the print on demand. So I can tell you the overall program, the 3-step program, and then in the one-pager, we're actually going to do the work, and I'm going to do it with you. So you can see step by step exactly what I do to create products with my own artwork. So let me first kind of tell you a little bit about the story about how I came into print on demand and how it just really kind of changed how I look at my artwork and how I can actually use my artwork to create income that's repeatable, right? So back when I was first starting and kind of in the business of pet portrait, I actually had a backlog of 6 months of commissions, and it kept on going that way, which was great because I was in demand. But at the same time, I started to recognize that I was working harder on something that was not repeatable and sustainable and had a ceiling limitation on the amount that I could earn. So those limitations actually existed on 2 levels, right? I had a time constraint and money, because eventually I would cap out on the amount I could reasonably charge for a custom oil pet portrait. So I had to make a decision. I had to change what I was working on or find a way to make a single piece of work multiply itself by passive income. And that's when I came into print on demand. And like I said, it just kind of rocked my world. And now I'm going to show you the 3-step program. All right, so the 3 steps to create products with your artwork is really very simple. You've got to, number 1, get good images of your artwork. And we're going to talk more about that. Number 2, you got to do the market research and the product price, keyword research, and description. Okay. And number 3, product mock-ups, because your artwork is fabulous, but the mock-ups are what's going to help sell it. Okay, get it into the mind of how the user can use it, how the buyer can use it. So the number 1 priority and the first thing that we're going to start work with on our 3-step framework is number 1 priority is a good image. You can't have a good product if your image doesn't look good. There are 2 ways to create great images. 1, you can have it photographed, or 2, which is my preferred way, is scanning it. So even when I create artwork, if I know I'm going to put it on a product, I actually use an 8x10 so that I can scan it in. Anything larger than an 8x10, I have to go and get it professionally photographed, which is a little extra time, a little extra money, and a little bit inconvenient, I'll be honest. My scanner, I bought off of Amazon. It goes all the way up to 1200 DPI. Fabulous quality. For the quality of your images, you want a high quality image, and that means it's going to be anywhere from 600 DPI to 1200 DPI. Naturally, the larger the DPI, the larger you can scale your image to fit on a larger product. So think 1200 DPI, that would go great on a shower curtain. 1200 DPI, wall tapestries. We also want to ensure that it has great resolution. Again, also to ensure the quality of the image. So we want to go for a minimum of 300 PPI. In the documentation below this video, I explain a little bit more about what is DPI, what is PPI, and those types of things. There's also links to the actual scanners and materials that I use personally. Okay, and depending on what you want to do, you may need 2 additional tools. One of them, most definitely, to refine your images, and that's Photoshop. And you'll actually see me in the one-pager refine an image to remove a bunch of the noise, the light, and really make it to the quality as though it was right in front of them. So sometimes with the scanners, they'll actually, and even professionally photographed, they'll be able to see like a hair, or you'll be able to see some scratch, not necessarily scratches, but some like the brush strokes and all that catches light in the wrong way to make actually a poor image. So that's where I come in with Photoshop. I also use Photoshop, and then I'll also use Canva, and you'll see me use Canva in the one-pager where I'm creating an additional product. So I use Photoshop for my mock-ups, and I also use Canva for mock-ups. Both of them are a lot of fun to play with and create some imagery that your end buyers can better relate to. Maybe it's like a catacorn that will go good in a nursery, and so you want to relay that through the visual story of an image. And with that, you need other tools like Canva and Photoshop. Now with Canva, there's actually a size limitation. So if that's the only tool that you decide to use, then you want to tell that professional photographer who took a picture of your artwork that you have a 25 meg limitation. So please provide a file that's 25 megs or less so that you can upload it into Canva and create the images that you want to use as your mock-ups. Step number 2 of our 3-step program is all about research. Research. This is probably a little bit boring, but I find it extremely interesting because you get to see what your competition is doing. So what we're actually going to research is 4 things. We're looking at product title, product description, product keywords, and then pricing, options, and considerations. All right, so why are we doing this research? There's 2 reasons. Number 1, we want to understand what our competition is doing. And the reason why we understand what our competition is doing is because we want to do it better, right? We want our images to look better. We want our keywords to be better. We want our descriptions to be better. And that gives us a better position to sell our artwork, right? The number 2 reason is we want to identify keywords. Now, you might not have heard of this before, and if you have, it's kind of maybe a little buzzword that you just go, oh, okay. So what it is called search engine optimization. And search engines like Google and even Etsy is a search engine, rely on keywords. And we're going to do the research, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do. We're going to do the keyword research so that you can have the information to put into your titles and your descriptions so that you can be more easily found on Google and Etsy searches. Okay, 2 extremely important things. Okay. I'm also going to show you 2 tools that I have and use on researching all of these. The first one we're going to talk about in just a minute is the product research spreadsheet. This thing is integral to everything that I do because it documents everything that I do so that when I go, why did I do that? I can go back and go, oh yeah, okay. If it's not written, it's forgotten. The number 2 tool that I'm going to show you is called Sales Samurai. This thing changed my world. Love this thing. Okay, so we're going to play around with Sales Samurai to really make sure that we identify the right keywords for our products. Okay, so the spreadsheet that you're looking at here is something that I've developed kind of over time to try and make things a little bit easier and repeatable, a process, so to speak. So this template is available to you. You can download it, modify it, however you see fit. So I'm going to explain it, and you're welcome to use it, okay? So I have something in column A, it's called product type, and then in column B, product description. So what I've tried to do here is templatize my product descriptions that I can use over and over and over, and then that way I have every time a starting point to defining my descriptions. And naturally I want to revise these descriptions to include keywords so that my listings will get found on Etsy and Google. But this will give me a great place to start, again, for a repeatable process. Okay, and then I also start documenting product keywords in here, and so these are things that I again repeatably will be able to use. And then as I add in new products, or I want to track a particular product, I can identify what particular keywords that particular product is using, which allows me to do further analysis in the future to maybe see, like, why is my bunny corn performing better than my catacorn? You know, that's if I want to go that granular, so I can do that. Then I also have my print-on-demand vendors, so this way if I'm working with more than one vendor, which I do, I can list in here their information. This is also very valuable to me so that when I'm doing my initial analysis on what kind of product I want to use, who provides the better deal so that I could then maximize my profit. Who provides the better shipping deal so that I can maximize my profit. So that's where I kind of get those analysis pieces. So both vendors, Gooten and Printify, do offer stickers. That's your opportunity to kind of figure out which one you want to use so that, again, you can maximize your profit. You want to do that analysis. Then I have a column in here that specifies the cost. Very important for us to know in order to do our calculations. Then also shipping costs. Within the one pager, I have links that you can access the shipping costs and actually directions from Gooten and Printify on how to get their shipping costs for those particular vendors that they use. It's very important to do that so that way, again, you can make sure that you can maximize your profit. And when you're doing the analysis and looking at other your competitors who are selling a similar product, you can see, okay, they've got free shipping, but their price is high. Now you know why, because they're including the shipping into their price. It's really great, just marketing information that you want to understand so you can set the best price for your product. Now these gray columns over here are automatically calculated for you. So right now what that means is you fill in the white stuff, the white columns. And what I have over here in columns Q through T, these are the transaction fees. So if you're using a different provider, marketplace provider, I use Etsy, so I'm documenting in here Etsy's fees so that it's included in my calculations over here. Okay, so that's really a nice summation of this whole document. And the only places that you would actually need to modify are the white areas. The grays are automatically calculated. If you have Etsy, Shopify, or whatever, there's probably a listing fee. If you have a sales agent, Shopify takes a percentage, Etsy takes a percentage, your credit card transaction takes a percentage, and then there might be a PayPal transaction fee as well. So just kind of keep, or Stripe transaction fee. So keep those things in mind, and that's really it on this product worksheet. Again, it's designed to help you determine the price that you want to charge and start collecting the information even before you create the Etsy listing. Okay, now comes the fun part, which is creating the products. And so we are actually going to put our images and designs directly on some products. So in the one pager, I'm going to show you how I created a plain notebook using my artwork, and then I'm going to use Canva to play up that notebook a bit to make multiple products from a single piece of art. And that's where the beauty and the fun begins, guys. So meet me over in the one pager, and we're going to walk through everything that you need to do step by step.